Okay, now right now we finna play the video, so like always, we gonna let it run through and we gonna catch up with the commentary at the end.
Thank you. Next we'll go to Mr. Fine from Florida.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got a few questions for Mr. English. I spent more than 10 years of my life in the casino business, and boxing was an important part of driving that business since I entered it back in the early 2000s. I want to talk about how boxing has grown or declined over time. Would you say there are more cards today, more or fewer cards today than there were 10 years ago?
Well, it's a misnomer that there are substantially fewer. I got the research and I provided it to the staff. It would take more time than it's worth, but it's not hugely lower.
Well, actually it is. In the 1990s, there were 250 to 300. I used to do this for a living. And actually in the 2020s, there's about 100 to 130. So we've seen about a 50% decline in U.S. cards over time. So, but it is your contention, so I understand, that the boxing industry, if you will, the opportunities available for boxers today is the same as it was in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's just as good. The industry
it's not the same.
It's not. The opportunities are the same, better or worse today than they were 20, 30 years ago?
Very different. I can't judge whether the fact, look, if Mr. Ali was a world champion today, and I always say this, how goes the heavyweight division, goes boxing. It's true. We don't have, right now, the prominent, and I'm speaking generally, of course, we don't have the prominent American boxers that we once did.
Sure, and perhaps it's because the number of opportunities available to become that are smaller. So my next question for you is this. Do you think if we created a second vehicle, UFC's been extraordinarily successful, create an industry out of nothing, do you think that if it was created, that what we're talking about here, would there be more or less opportunities for boxers to engage in the sport and the profession that they want to participate in? More or fewer?
Just to be very clear, I'm not arguing that there should not be a UBO, or what do you ever want to call it. What I'm arguing is that the guardrails that are in the Muhammad Ali Act should apply universally.
Okay, so let's talk about guardrails. Earlier this week, Terence "Bud" Crawford was stripped of his championship belt by a sanctioning organization because he didn't pay an exorbitant fee to the sanctioning organization. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
And so there are pretty big problems with what goes on today.
Many times, I have suggested to fighters that they do not need a particular belt or any belt. I could give you the names of the fighters. It's not important. Sometimes fighters transcend those belts.
But you also said there's not a lot transcending right now. We don't have a lot of transcenders right now. There aren't.
We don't have as many as we did. I can think of a handful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were involved actually in an Ali Act case involving Jeff Lacey versus your client.
Got your ass.
You worked with this group called Main Events, was sort of involved in this space. When was the last time Main Events promoted a televised card? Because, I'm focused on opportunities for boxers. Was it a year ago, 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah! They squabbling out in there! Yeah!
I am not here as a representative of Main Events. I want to make it very clear.
No, I understand. I'm asking a fact question.
They've got a card that they're co-promoting in January.
But when's the last time before that?
It was in Florida last year.
Okay, so
maybe early this year.
Couple opportunities. Look, the fact of the matter is this. In the 1980s, the 1990s, boxing was considered one of the big three sports. There were massive opportunities available for people who want to participate, and it was not only good for them, but it was good for the facilities, the entertainment venues, for the business that I came from. Everybody won by these increased opportunities. That industry is now in decline. And I think that we can oppose a bill like this because we want to keep the equivalent of the horse and buggy system of boxing going and watch it continue to decline, watch it continue to create fewer and fewer opportunities for boxers, or we can live in the world the way it is today. And what we've seen is UFC has taken over several decades something that basically didn't exist and turned it into something extraordinary. I think we would all benefit. I think boxers would benefit if they had access to that same kind of opportunity too. So I'm very grateful to Representative Jack for bringing this bill forward, and I'm going to be excited to vote for it if and when it comes before us for markup. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Now, I showed that to show that if you are about the sanctioning bodies, if you are about getting paid, if you're about keeping that element of boxing strong, why would you do the one thing that plays into the hand of the people who want to bust that apart? You see what being ugly gets you? You know, and that only strengthens their case. Now, about Dana White and stuff, I ain't necessarily happy with that either, but I can't say anything because the boxers ain't saying anything, you know, and only they can tell how things can go. If they want to go that route, if they feel that's better, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, like, I'm all open. But the one thing is, going up with your sanctioning fee just because somebody had a big fight ain't cool. Especially due to the fact that you don't follow no rules no way. You just had a dude take a knee. And ain't nothing happened. We got a dude coming off of a loss who's obviously not good for public relations when it comes to the promotion and the healthiness of the sport of boxing. Why would you give that person a title shot? Once again, it's those underlying things right there that send signals. What are you saying with something like that? You're saying what he did is acceptable. That's not supposed to be acceptable under no terms. And to add on top of that, it's a fighter that basically, Ryan Garcia is a YouTube fighter. There's nothing, he has no claim to fame in boxing whatsoever. And after losing to Rolly Romero, he should be the laughing stock. Honestly, y'all shouldn't be talking about no Devin Haney. It should be him. Real talk. But why would you play into their hand like that? And once again, being ugly. Now, as far as the sport of boxing goes, what I think that they don't realize is the sport of boxing, the height of it, depends on how many Black Americans is actively fighting. And the point is, we lose our best potential fighters to the NFL, definitely the NFL, and every other sport. That's just the truth. If you don't believe it, then date it back. Because the truth of the matter is, once, the reason why boxing was good, because they were there with each other to mix it up. Once they faded out into other sports and more other countries and races of people came into the sport of boxing, it has always been to the point where y'all want to put down and shoot down the black fighters. But the point is, just like the NFL, this is why they ain't got no choice. Just like the NFL, they're everywhere and they're on every team. So how could you not cheer for them and therefore, you know, A, B, and C? So when they fade out into those other sports and other groups of people fill those places, you know that y'all always cheer and champion the foreigner. Y'all never cheer for your man at home or come support him at home. And to add on top of that, there's a Black American presence in boxing, but there's no white American presence in boxing. That's just the truth. It takes more than just changing rules to make this sport good again, because as a result of what Ryan Garcia is, that shows you one of the main problems of why it can't take off. And in order to bypass that, you have to circumnavigate that through black fighters basically fighting black fighters and having more black fighters. Because we can't ask people to change overnight. So the only way they're going to get into it is if it's more of them. And they're fighting each other. So therefore, it's not that element. And let's face it, all your classic fights, all your good fights was with the black Americans. The point is, our best athletes faded out into other sports. That's truthfully what it takes to get it all the way back. Because you ain't going to fix your bigotry problem. And that's part of the biggest problem of boxing. But you could blow past it then because you had Ali and Frazier. You know what I'm saying? You had Foreman, you had Sugar Ray Leonard. You know what I'm saying? You had Hagler. You had a whole bunch of slew of fighters. It was way more then. It's not really that many anymore. But yet still, with the numbers being low, still dominate. Still dominate. America has to get behind its champions. America can't get behind its champions. America can't even go watch a Star Wars film because of the way a guy looks. But hence Darth Vader. The irony and the ignorance. So you can change these rules around and this, that, and the third. With the way y'all treat these fighters in boxing and with the way the cheating goes, and people talk about Jana Beck popping, and I'm like, man, you want to know the main reasons? One of the main reasons why Jana Beck popped dirty? Because when you don't have a reaction to something like that, silence is a form of agreement. And since he was going against what? A black fighter? What was y'all gonna care? And that's the other thing in boxing y'all gonna have to address. You guys gonna have to address the blatant disregard for cheating against black fighters. But with everybody else, they super sensitive. Hence, Devin Haney getting fined for pushing Lomachenko. You know what that was about. You know what that was about. The same way they trying to discredit his win right now. You already know what that's about. He got a fine for pushing a fighter. So a fighter got physical with another fighter. Shocker. Wow. But because of the image of it, you got to find it. You see what I'm saying? That's what I say. You ain't getting down to no boxing. Till you address the color issue. Some people, y'all just don't care who cheat, and it's depending on the way that they look. With all that and the way that they interact with boxing, and when people choose to interact with boxing, whether a veteran or for the first time, it's not pleasant, to be honest with you. It's not pleasant. The Latin fan base, under certain circumstances of fights, make sure it's not pleasant. Why can't we just all right, that's your man, that's mine, fine. But it can never be that. It's always something more. That's not enjoyable. Not for me. Even while beating your ass. Why can't it just be a fight? That's what I'm saying. And that was the whole diss between UFC and boxing. That should have been no diss towards boxing, towards any UFC fighter. None. None whatsoever. How do you diss boxing? Just how? Just think of how idiotic that, just think of how long this has been going on. And I just been hearing it. I'm like, it ain't nobody gonna point this shit out. Matter of fact, yep, I can say that. I'm the first to point it out. The only to point it out. Yep, I can make that claim now. Yep, that's another one that I can add. Did nobody make that connection? But I did, but you knew it was there. But you just couldn't figure out, how can somebody diss a martial art like boxing when everybody got 2 hands and 2 feet? That don't make sense. But anyways, I'll digress, because that's still boring my guess, because heard that for years. Oh, fuck boxing. What are you talking about? but that's because of who dominates boxing. So until you fix that, or you can get the funnel of Black Americans, athletes, back into boxing like it was back in the day, then boxing will never be where it was again. I don't care what rules you change. Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Vane, I'm out.
Quit watching NBA basketball. Quit watching sports that are dominated by African Americans.